Hello, my name is Karen Saintville. We are here today with Alex Comanita, who is Vice President of M&A at MarketChemica, and we are at the 2026 Distressed Investing Summit hosted by the M&A Advisor. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you.
We have a few questions for you, super easy. Can you tell us a little about what you've been focusing on lately at MarketChemica?
Yeah, well, we've been focusing in the space that we're always focused in. So MarketChemica is a lower middle market M&A advisory exclusively focused on fine and specialty chemicals and what we call chemistry intensive adjacencies. So kind of the next 1-2 steps down the value chain. Closed out a deal in late January, a specialty industrials platform that was sold to a Canadian private equity group. Outside of that, we've been working on quite late stage in a mandate on specialty thin film coatings being applied to electronic kind of components and sub-assemblies. So think circuit boards going into mission critical applications. So that's been an interesting space we've been focused in recently, as well as the space of high precision fermentation. So the next question is, what is high precision fermentation usually? I work a lot in originations. I make the joke that I'm a finance guy that accrued all his chemical knowledge through osmosis and talking with our partners and deep technical bench. But in a nutshell, you have like a 10,000 liter reactor, you fill it with something called a broth, you add an ingredient that starts a fermentation process, and then 100 liters out of that reactor ends up being a very high value added product, mostly going into nutraceuticals, into fortified foods, into cosmeceuticals, so cosmetics with a therapeutic property. To give you a sense, it's like 1 liter is probably about 25,000 US. So
wow.
Very high value added niche products within chemicals. That's where we focus on. Not so much the commoditized end, very much that high value added product end of the chemical industry.
Wow, incredible. And looking into the future, are there any particular sectors or geographies you're excited about that seem poised for action?
Yeah, if I had to pick 3, aerospace and defense. I think there's some pretty strong tailwinds there. And when it comes to chemicals, it governs much of the material world around us. So I like to think about it in terms of what's a strong tailwind kind of pointing towards a growing market, and where is the application truly mission critical, where there's a very high cost of failure. So aerospace and defense is one of them. Even with our that mandate in contract and film coatings, a lot of these circuit boards are going into unmanned aerial vehicles, rockets, for lack of a better term. Also, maybe to jump to another space that I think is poised for growth, medical devices, particularly on the implantable front. And there's a number of chemicals going into these. Specialty silicones is one of them. Also other coatings that coat the kind of inside circuitry within these devices. The mission critical aspect being if it leaks and kind of interacts with the human being, there can be problems. So right. As you can guess, when there's one of these kind of mission critical applications, less of a cost sensitivity kind of on the end consumer's front, points towards a bit of a higher margin offering as well.
Wow, incredible, incredible. And one area of focus at the summit today is the outlook for 2026. Do you see any particular challenges or opportunities on the horizon?
Well, kind of as Roger said in his keynote speech, clarity does not precede opportunity. It comes a function of the action taken after an opportunity is seized. So if we're painting it in the vein of a distressed investing summit, I think there's less distress in general here in the US. So our group is operational in the US as well as the European Union. I think there's some kind of some tailwinds like legislatively and a broader push towards reshoring and nearshoring that are making the domestic business environment a little bit easier than across the pond. As it pertains to the chemical industry, we're seeing lower middle market businesses that have a clear value prop and fill portfolio gaps for larger entities being of large interest. Where the big guys used to just be looking to expand capacity, it's not so much the playbook anymore. They're looking to fill portfolio gaps and buy companies that bring in capabilities that they didn't otherwise have before. So that's clearly driving their kind of investment theses. In Europe, I think on the distress front, there's a lot of opportunity. in chemicals, but broadly speaking in industrials. Elevated energy prices after the Ukraine conflict breaking out, increased costs related to compliance, particularly on the ESG front. These are some of the difficulties weighing on the cost structures of businesses over there. And the more commoditized the offering, the larger part of the cost structure some of these elements make up. So it's there's some pain in the market in Europe, ripe for opportunity. Let's say for the right investors that are willing to roll up their sleeves and navigate these rocky times. And we've been seeing that being private equity, oftentimes, particularly on the European front, taking on some of these more difficult assets.
Well said. Well, thank you for your time. We hope you enjoyed the rest of the event, and we'll hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for tuning into M&A TV. If this episode enhanced your strategic outlook, please like, subscribe, and share it with your network. For more critical insights and high-level interviews, follow us on all our socials and visit our hub at www.maadvisor.com. I'm Roger Argonaldo, and we'll see you next time right here on M&A TV, the definitive voice of dealmakers.